Hi family, how are you? Hi tribe, welcome to Pop Salt and Culture. Today is going to be very different from most days. I'm not even sure if I should call this a story time because it's literally a very, very recent event. But anyways, let's just get into it. You saw from the title, but I'm going to make it more clear. I cannot use certain terms because YT does not allow, it's not a platform where there's like any freedom of speech, just in case you didn't know. And once you get monetized, you find out the real, you get more scrutinized. But anyways, on Sunday last week, we always do, most Sundays, we have a live stream, and it's usually around relationships and spirituality. So it's always one or the other. But this time we did something on pop culture, and I did mention something that was on my heart. It was about a recent scandal by Nayfair. You can switch the N with W, that company. And it's supposed to be like a furniture type company, but recently they have been caught in a CHILD, traffic ING scandal. And it really broke my soul. And so I don't know how we went into that during my live stream, during that Sunday live stream, and I was in tears, and it was a very emotional thing for me, and it's hard to talk about, especially because there are it is so incredibly negative. Anyways, a few nights ago, after I found out about the Nayfair scandal, again, switch the N with W. After I found out about their trafficking scandal, it broke my spirit, and I did a lot of research because it's such a heavy thing to accuse someone or entire company or organization of doing. But after doing so much research, you guys, it's so deep, and I definitely think there needs to be an investigation, and there needs to be something done about it. It needs to be, properly looked into. That's without a doubt. But anyways, it also, at the very least, it reminds all of us that this is real, right? This is a real thing. The government has been talking about it. The president, the orange guy, has been putting legislature around it and hamping down on more trafficking rings. And the police and just activists have been showing people how to protect themselves, especially if you're in the United States here, where it's really real, right? I mean, we know slavery still happens. That's a fact. And we know how it happens here. And they're using other terms to, cloud it, like trafficking. But really, it's forms of slavery, right? Slavery. And, they teach you things like, oh, you shouldn't park between cars, especially vans. Don't park between two big vans. If you see a big white van or a big van, just, park somewhere completely different. Don't, really pay attention to your surroundings. Don't move mad at night. Try to do any public, shopping or whatever that you have to do in the thick of the day, and just do more research on how this operates, because there are people who have survived these things, and the people who have actually done the enslavement who have full tell-alls, right? Now, those who know the link between this issue that's happening and the grander system, which I cannot really get into just to protect myself as well, and the larger system that that needs this CHILDREN for whatever rituals or esoteric things that they do to fortify themselves, to appease dark deities, you name it. A lot of people who've spoken about that are gone. They are especially those who have name dropped, right? They're dead. So that's just a pretext and some context for you guys. So after doing a lot of that research, I realized like my soul, like I can't explain it, but I felt incredibly heavy and incredibly open, and I started crying and crying and crying. I'm going to try my best not to cry while I'm talking about this. Whoa. Every time I do research about this, it really hurts my soul. It really does. And I feel it so deeply. I can't explain. And I don't know why. It's horrible. After doing so much research one of these nights, I felt very open and vulnerable. But I was just like, it's okay for one night, because if you're, the content you consume is really important. And I have to make it clear to you guys, the content you consume is so important. It can elevate your spirit, it can shatter your spirit, and it can actually cause you some serious mental problems. Let that be clear first of all. So if you don't have the fortitude to do the research about this, or to do, to learn a lot about what's out there, because when you seek knowledge, you have to also protect yourself when you're seeking like certain dark esoteric things. You have to, and when I say dark, I don't mean like even in a positive or balanced light. I mean like negative stuff, right? You have to protect your space. Whether you believe it or not, just do what I'm telling you to, right? Protect your space, protect yourself. So after doing this, research that particular night, I went to bed just overwhelmed and drained, just drained by the whole thing. And I had a dream. And I have a lot of dreams, especially when I became more, awoken. We talk about that another time. This dream was so peculiar, and I've had, good dreams, bad dreams, and I can decipher. And sometimes even dreams that are scary don't always mean, that something bad is happening. It just interprets things that you're feeling within your body. It just tells you like, oh, maybe because you're anxious about this, about, you're this, about that. It doesn't necessarily mean, that this is exactly what's going to happen because you're running from the police, and that means that, cops are going to chase you in real life. No, that's not how dream interpretations work. They're basically a manifestation of certain things that you're going through or feeling, right? For the most part. But there are many different kinds of dreams and spiritual things that happen when you're in your dream space. Like you hear from your spirit guides, they tell you, oh, do this and do that, and if you do this, and it's like really cool. So when I was sleeping, when I was dreaming, I was having a very regular schmegular boring dream that I knew I wasn't going to remember when I woke up, like one of those. And then all of a sudden things got a bit dark. And I usually don't pay too much attention to it, except I find out, I write it down, and I decipher what's going on within me. What I experienced within this dream was very, very different. And I'll tell you why. In the dream, after the fun, whatever stuff that I will not remember, then I felt like, I couldn't talk. I felt a little bit choked up here. And then I felt like I was trying to wake up and I couldn't, right? They call it sleep paralysis or whatever, but it was a little more intense than that. And then I saw, like a regular dream, okay? Like a regular schmegular dream just turned really dark. Then I saw a teddy bear. That's when I was like, oh, what is that? I was just curious. I saw a teddy bear. This is in the dream space. And I said, oh, what is that? But the teddy bear was not attached to anyone, but it was a shadow and the bear. But it was a shadow of the bear. And there was no entity attached to it, but it was on the side like that. And it's like, why is this teddy bear like, floating almost towards me and dangling? a brown teddy, and it was coming closer and closer and closer to me, almost like Tasha K's teddy bear. Actually, it looks just like that, but you know, it's in my dream space, it wasn't clear. So that teddy bear was coming closer and closer and closer to me, and then I was looking, I was like, what is that? And I was like, what? And then I just felt like this, you know, choke on my neck, and I couldn't breathe, and I was trying to come up and I couldn't breathe. And then I saw a spatula, the utensil you use to fry eggs and stuff and pancakes. I saw a spatula, a black handle spatula, and it was attached to nothing as well, and coming close to me like that, just dangling close to me. And then I felt an immense fear. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And I was trying to wake up, and then I said, spirit, spirit, spirit. And then I called Mother Earth, and I said, Allah, Allah, help me, Jinamaka, help me. And you know, and then after I was like, hold up, literally. I was like, this is all my dreams. I said, that. I literally said, that. Allah, do something. Do something. I'll come after him. Allah, do something. And boom, I woke up. And I could breathe. And it was mad. So what I did, do I have any of them here? Yeah. I always put some on my plants as well. So what I did is I got my selenite. I got my selenite sticks, which helped me with protection and cleansing the energies. And I put them close to me. And I slept like a baby after that. Still in shock when I woke up that morning, still in shock of that dream, and I couldn't forget the dream. Vivid. I forgot a lot of my dreams, even some important ones, which is why sometimes Spirit tells me before I go to bed, like, hey, just have your journal. Literally, would tell me, take your journal to your bed, and I have to obey. And I usually get a dream or something that I have to write down. When I was dating my ex, I would literally wake him up and tell him all my dreams, and he would be like, girl, what in the hell, right? He had some interesting dreams too, but I would literally wake up at 3 in the morning and be like, this is what's happening, this is what happened. And he would be like, what? You know, but we understood what that, you know, that space. He wasn't weirded out when I had these dreams, and he would tell me his when he had like a crazy thing in the spirit space. He would also tell me about it. And yeah, I felt that time, I was like, God, I wish I could call him and just tell him. Yeah, wild. The next day, after the live stream, where that was Sunday, right? So after the Sunday live stream, I had a very heavy heart after I'd finished it, even though our topic was not really surrounding it, but I did mention that. I did mention, you know, that the company, the Wayfair company. And I cried a little, so my heart was heavy. And before I went to bed that night, my heart was incredibly, like, I was palpitating and just upset, and praying for those children. I watched some tarot videos, and there are 2 psychics that said a lot of those children will be returned, you know, because of everything that's happening, but there'll be way more like in-depth exposure. So basically, like, don't worry. And that calmed me down a lot. I'm not a seer, so when I, you know, look at other seers and see what they say, not that they're always 100% correct, but it helps, you know, give some perspective. And so I just said a prayer, and I got my selenite sticks, 2 of my selenite sticks that I have next to my bed that help cleanse the space, and I put them on my chest, and I was trying to lay down to go to bed. and it burned me. It burned me. So I know a lot of people don't believe in the power of crystals. They think it's stupid nonsense, new age-ish. It's not. When I started learning about crystals, and I remember when I bought my, a lot of my crystals, I didn't feel anything. I was like, these things are just goddamn stones, whatever. They don't make any sense. But I would still charge them in the moon. When there's a full moon, I would still put them out. I will cleanse them with salt water, and I'll charge them and all that stuff, I'll still do what I had to do, put them, I understood their purpose, to cleanse the space, to do this, for protection, for creativity, for love, energy, all that stuff, right? So the first time I realized that crystals really do work was when my amethyst stone burned me. And I was having a very heavy heart around that time. I think I was having issues with my ex then. And so my heart was really heavy, and I cried a lot, and just, had like a full purge. And I remember one time, I don't know why, my heart was so heavy. I had an anxiety attack, and so I grabbed that and I put it on my chest, and it burnt me. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I was researching, and I realized that, oh my God, this is why it burnt me. And the second time was when I bought my cistrine, which helps with my creative energy. And at the time, it was really like, a thing in my life. I don't want to talk too much about it. This is all things that will deviate. And so when I held that crystal, I literally felt the energy and the vibrations in my hand. I could feel it sharp. And I was like, okay, this is a good stone. It resonates with my spirit. It was great. I was like, wow, these things do work. And the third time that I got a shock was from my 2 selenite sticks. I put them next to me, and they burnt me. I put it on my hand, and it burnt me. I put it on my chest, and it burnt. I still felt like the hot shock, very hot shock, and it burnt me. And I didn't know what to do, because like sometimes when I hold my crystals, I put them on me, nothing happens. Like I don't feel any of that. So why? And I realized, I had to cleanse them because of that night that I had that terrible spiritual attack. Because it is not a dream, and it was not a regular dream. I literally felt choked. I saw that teddy come to me and hold, and then I saw the spatula moving like that. Very lucid dream. It was very, very lucid, and choked me up, and the fear and everything, until I said, that Allah, help me. I want an offense and not defense anymore. So I didn't cleanse my selenite sticks, but I thought my selenite could absorb a lot and hold a lot. So I was like, so what I did was I went to my sink, and I put, I had the pure water in there and salts and whatnot, and I put my intention, I cleansed my selenite sticks, wiped them down, went back to bed, put them on me, no shock. No shock anymore. No shock whatsoever. Nothing. No burn. Not a burn. Slept like a baby. So this is just to say, you guys, that fear is a huge factor, and that these like selenite sticks, I also had a cistrine on me. I held my cistrine and put it also on my bed, and I went to sleep, and I felt completely protected. No bad dreams, nothing, no attack. Like I slept like a kid. Do you understand? Like a baby, nothing. And I realized that if you ever go under a spiritual attack where it's so lucid, you really feel like, that will be the end of you. Go on offense. Go, I don't care what it is, go on offense and call on your spirit guides, call on God, spirit or universe, as I call it, whatever you call the great spirit, whatever your great spirit is, calling on God, calling your great spirit, calling your ancestors who loved you so much when they were alive on earth. Like if your mom passed and you're someone who really loved you, your sister, call on them, call on your ancestors, call on people who have gone before you, and go on offense. Go on offense. If you read the Bible and you have scriptures, if you read, whatever sacred book and you have powerful protective scriptures, read them out. Go on offense and smile. Nothing will touch you. I promise. I promise. They don't bond them. They don't bond them. Do you understand? So, all this to say also that these are not I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but when the evidence aligns so much and you see it, and then now you get attacked and your spirit is overwhelmed and you really feel these spirits, it's not fake, it's not false. And it's not just the elite, small time people too also dabble in this type of very dark magic and use human sacrifices and all this crazy things. But anyways, long story short, these things do happen. Please pray for these children. Protect yourself in the way I told you in the beginning. Make sure you don't park between certain cars. Just be very hyper vigilant. Do a lot of research on this. Protect yourself. Protect yourselves. Also know how you talk about these things. So in every way you can, seriously people, in every way you can, spiritually, physically, protect yourself and protect the content you also consume. If it is a lot for you, don't consume it. Just pray. You heard the news, pray. Don't go into it if you don't, if you really want to protect yourself. But if you want to know knowledge, just like in Eden, and just like the Elohim said in Genesis, right? They will know just like us. And with that knowledge comes great responsibility. It can weigh heavy on your spirit. Which is why people say ignorance is bliss, because you don't know, you don't know. But there are also consequences for not knowing. So when you know, what do? Protect yourself, say prayers for these children and for these adults and for these women, for these people, for these human beings who are still, being enslaved today. It's wild, but it's happening. And if you have a spiritual attack, go on offense. Fear is what they feed off of. Fear is the kind of energy that was absorbed into my crystals. That's why it burned me. I had to cleanse it again. That's how deep it was, that anxiety and all that. Do you understand? They absorb that energy. It's just the truth. I'm telling you from my own experience, just in case you're like, I didn't. In my experience, I kid you not. And yeah, I wanted to share this with you. It was in my heart, and I thought I'd share this with you. I love you. I love you. I'll see you on Saturday, our anniversary vlog, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.